YouTube, what's going on, man? It's your boy Caprice the Great, back with another video. This is another video we about to go ahead and react to. This is about Arch Manning. Everything is about to change for Arch Manning. I'm not too sure what exactly this may consist of or whatever, especially because Quinn Ewers is still on Texas. We'll have to wait and see how it all plays out. The original link to this video will be in the description down below. If you're new to my channel, be sure to subscribe and comment down below. What do you think about Texas and their powerhouse team? Where do you think, how far they'll end up going, or if they'll even end up winning the national championship? Let's go ahead and jump right into it, though. No cap.
I never was a backup, so this year being a second string and a third string.
I can tell he's having a lot of fun this year, Pat, because he's already made that decision.
I think I've learned a lot this season. Learned a lot from Quinn and Malik.
Arch Manning was the #1 college recruit in the country out of any position.
Malik transferred though, I know that. He on Duke now.
Peyton and Eli Manning is the son of the most athletic Manning brother, Cooper Manning, and even graduated high school 1 year early, so he could go into college as a 17-year-old true freshman. Arch Manning is still a teenager and going into year 2 of his college career as probably the most hyped up quarterback in years. But at this point of his career, he's still not starting. He might not until next year. Could this potentially pose a problem for the Manning family, as they have commented
Come to Bama.
So before we get to the content, make sure you drop like
Come to Bama
and turn on your notifications to help the channel grow. Check us out on Snapchat and Instagram for additional bonus content. Now that we get all that out of the way,
yo, if he has any issues, man, if he has any problems with getting playing time, bro, Jalen Milroe will be graduating next year. It is the perfect time to come on to Bama. Go ahead and ride the wave. You know what I'm saying? Even though we don't have Nick Saban, look, it'll be a good look for him. I ain't gonna lie. It'll be in good hands.
$25 in.
I'm gonna go ahead and skip this part. Yo, we need to find the time frame to when this happens.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? Arch Manning was born in April of 2005 to his father Cooper Manning, the third and most athletic Manning brother.
2005, damn.
While
Bro,
Cooper may have
what?
been the most physically gifted of the three brothers, managing to play wide receiver at an all-state level in Louisiana and eventually committing to Ole Miss to play wide receiver, career was ended before it even began, after he was diagnosed with spinal stenosis. At the time, people thought it was a shame that Cooper's generational athleticism was wasted due to an ailment that he couldn't prevent. But a few years later, his son Arch Manning not only inherited his otherworldly athleticism, but he also inherited his uncle's unique throwing ability, and would put it together to become the most hyped up quarterback of the decade. And no, that's not an overstatement. Arch Manning has always been the best quarterback on his team, from flag football to middle school. And according to his grandfather and former NFL quarterback Archie Manning, he was even the best quarterback on varsity football
roots
team
run deep.
Freshman in high school.
And the other thing, he got to play as a freshman. That was a huge thing for him. They had an incumbent quarterback, but Arch was able to beat him out in the 7-on-7 drills in the summer. And then fortunately, they moved this young man to receiver. So he was a senior, and he got to play, and he contributed. But so much experience that year.
Arch Manning would dominate high school football, managing to set records at his high school.
Why that blue and white team look like my old high school?
They're just school records. But when you take into account that he broke Peyton and Eli's records for touchdowns and passing yards in a career, it becomes apparent that there is something very special about Arch. For his senior season,
he's like that for real. I will say that.
Texas, but only after the school spent
probably better than Drake May.
$1,000 to recruit him, and not with NIL money, but just on his recruiting visit alone. Peyton Manning went to Tennessee for college, whereas Eli Manning went to Ole Miss respectively. So you might think that the pair of all-time great quarterbacks would be pushing Arch to attend one of their alma maters. But reportedly, Arch's final decision came down to Virginia and Texas. And after Arch eventually signed with Texas, Peyton Manning couldn't be happier.
Yeah, I think Eli and I both just kind of be there for
I seen Alabama on there just now.
As his uncles, we sort of wait for him to reach out to us with a question. He came to Denver last summer. We worked out a couple days. We watched some film together, but it's because he wanted to come out and ask me some questions. I can tell he's having a lot of fun this year, Pat, because he's already made that decision.
After his senior year, Arch Manning would go on to finish his high school career with 115 touchdown passes, just 19 interceptions, and nearly 8,600 passing yards, as well as over
that's crazy numbers right there,
and 19 rushing touchdowns, which made him the #1 recruit in all of college football, regardless of position. Arch Manning would go on to graduate from Newman High just to get into the Texas locker room early and have some extra time to learn the playbook and meet his new teammates. Arch was on pace to take over Texas and all of college football the very next season. again, but one thing was holding him back, and one thing that
Quinn
still to
Ewers
this day is stopping him from breaking records. Arch Manning was a true freshman at Texas in 2023 and was projected to be the starter out of the gate. Well, that would be the case if it wasn't for Quinn Ewers, the team's starting quarterback the season prior, and himself being a #1 recruit just 2 years prior.
Yeah, he a dog
Manning,
too.
Ewers was touted as the best quarterback in the country and initially committed to Ohio State before transferring to Texas in 2022. Arch Manning had to adjust to being a backup QB for the first time in his life. Just like everything he's done on the field, he did it with grace and perfection, and it honestly resulted in tremendous development.
I think I've learned a lot this season. Learned a lot from Quinn and Malik and Coach Sark and Coach Millie. So it's been a fun year of development, and I'm excited we're in this position. I never was a backup, so this year being a second string and a third string, you get to kind of be behind and learn a lot from the other guys and try and stay patient. And I think
He's a third string?
learn a lot from Quinn and Coach Millie, and just trying to grow and learn each day.
Arch Manning is set to back up Quinn Ewers once again this year for his sophomore season. And with Quinn still having eligibility
He's only a
to play
sophomore, though.
until 2025, there's a chance that we don't even see Arch Manning in action until 2026. That is, of course, if he doesn't transfer. There's been a lot of buzz going around since Ewers decided to stay for his third season that Arch Manning could transfer to another school to finally get a chance to play.
Come to
If that
Bama.
does happen, we're going to have to wait until 2025, seeing as he's already decided to stay at Texas for 2024. Just because he's the backup doesn't mean we have to wait to see him play football, because when the spring game came around, Arch Manning was more dominant than ever. In April, Texas held their annual spring game, where the team splits their roster into 2 separate teams, and considering the fact that Texas is now in
he
the
was throwing
SEC
dots.
conference, and the SEC has been known for their defensive teams for a long time, it wouldn't be crazy to say that Texas's defense is pretty solid. With that logic, it wouldn't be crazy to predict that Arch Manning would struggle during this game. As a matter of fact, that would be the case when he took the field for the 2023 spring game, just showing how raw he truly was. Some people criticized Arch's talent, saying that he beat up on lesser high school teams, and that's why he was such a highly touted recruit.
He's
This
tough
time,
too. 15?
way
He's a
too
dog.
Arch. After subbing in with just 2 minutes to go in the first quarter, Arch's first pass would end up being a nearly 80-yard bomb, which resulted in a touchdown. Arch Manning would go on to toss another 75-yard
goodness.
touchdown
Yeah,
late
he's
in the
throwing
game to
dots.
take the lead, which ended his game at 3 touchdown passes and over 350 yards passing for the second-year signal caller. Now,
Wow.
obviously, this is just a spring game, and everything should be taken with a little grain of salt. But when you hear Texas head coach Steve Sarkisian
Nah, there's
talk
hype
about
to
his
that,
future
for sure.
quarterback, it's hard to be anything but positive about Arch. I wanted Arch to really just go play football. The biggest thing I saw from Arch was something that we really harped on with him about a week and a half ago, about just playing the play and keeping your eyes up. When he keeps his eyes up and steps up in the pocket, he can deliver those balls down the field the way that we like to play. It was good to see. In all likelihood,
My boy
we'll
got
get to
the
see
mean
Manning play
slick back.
quarterback in a real football game is just a year away. Personally, I don't think there's a chance Quinn Ewers stays for the 2025 season when he has a great opportunity to go into the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Originally, my prediction was Quinn Ewers would declare for the NFL draft this season, but as we all saw, this year was an incredible.
So I asked ChatGPT.
Yeah, nah. I mean, if I'm Quinn Ewers, I don't think I'm declaring this year either, though. You know, even though it was a really low-key a weak class, but I could be wrong, though.
Quarterback class. With
They haven't
Caleb
played the game
Williams,
yet.
Jaden Daniels and Drake May going in the top 3. The Atlanta Falcons making the brilliant decision to draft Michael Penix as their project QB with the 8th pick, and then JJ McCarthy being selected before Bo Nix was selected. I can understand why Quinn Ewers would return to school, primarily because there's a chance he could be selected #1 overall.
Okay,
this
never
year.
mind.
He doesn't
Scratch
need to
everything
be
I
able
just
to defeat
said.
This guy. Once Quinn Ewers does declare for the NFL draft, this would free up Arch Manning to show off what he can do. The reason Arch Manning is so highly touted isn't because of his raw passing skills and ability to scramble, because over the past few years we've seen plenty of young quarterbacks such as Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud, and now Caleb Williams do the same thing. The reason he's so
Yeah.
hyped up is because he has been groomed since he was a young kid to become the perfect quarterback. His grandfather was a Pro Bowl QB. He has
Ooh,
2
good
Hall of Fame
throw.
quarterback uncles with a combined 4 Super Bowl rings. His father was nearly a college athlete. There's nobody else on the planet who had
Dang,
all
he didn't
these
even get to play
athletic
college?
just a phone call away, except for Arch Manning and maybe Shedeur Sanders. In fact, he's so focused on football that he's even declined to be in the new NCAA football game because he views it as a potential distraction. Compare him to past top quarterbacks of recent
I don't like
years.
that. I ain't gonna lie.
Lawrence and CJ Stroud are great, but they never had 2 Hall of Famers just a speed dial away. Caleb Williams is phenomenal, but maybe his overconfidence could be his downfall. Arch Manning is a superior prospect to all of these quarterbacks simply because he's as talented, if not more talented than them. He has has 3 of the best football minds readily available to support him if he needs help, and he is the most humble and focused prospect we have seen in a decade. If Arch Manning doesn't work out at the next level, hell will freeze over, and Kyler Murray will probably grow 10 inches. Maybe Caleb Williams will stop painting his fingernails. If Arch Manning doesn't work out, Tom Brady will come out of retirement next year, and the Cowboys will actually win a Super Bowl. Arch Manning is in a league of his own in almost every category, and it's only a matter of time until he takes over the football world. What are your thoughts on Arch Manning? Do you think he'll work out at Texas, or do you think he'll transfer? Is he an NFL caliber talent, or is everybody hyping him up right before he fails? Let me know what you guys think about all this in the comment section down below. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.
Bro, I would see it as damn near impossible we don't see him playing next year. I just cannot see that happening. Like, him backing up somebody else or coming in to try to beat him at the spot. If somebody ends up wind up doing that for real, though, we can go ahead and expect him entering the transfer portal for sure. Arch Manning is not one of those guys that should be being a backup pretty much his whole entire career. I will say that this year, you know what I'm saying, it's Quinn Ewers, bro. Quinn Ewers had a enormous season, as you already know, bro. He whooped up on my team, Alabama, which was very sad to see. It was very, very, very hard to see, but Arch Manning is definitely one of those guys where, man, you would love to have him on your team no matter who it is. So y'all let me know in the comment section down below what do y'all think about Arch Manning and Texas as a whole. We're going to go and react to some more videos in a few when we can, but until then, it's your boy Caprice the Great, and I'm out. No cap.